I get very excited because there are flashing numbers counting down on the screen. Hello, welcome back to the StatrCast. It's the cast from the team at StatrDraft who are doing fantasy football, but better, with more numbers, better info, and strange hot takes. I'm Jimmy. I'm joined, as always, by John, and as usual, by Dino and Gary. Nice full four-side team this evening. John, what's on the menu?
We have a very tasty menu today. Lads, football is back at the weekend. Obviously, football's back at the weekend, so we have some highlighted games that we're going to look at, including the North London Derby. We have Newcastle at home to City, because as we know, Newcastle are quite good at home and awful away. We have Liverpool versus Forest, which is a fascinating look at two different types of tactics. We've got Manchester United versus Everton on Monday Night Football. Bournemouth West Ham, the team with the plan versus the team with no plan. But first and foremost, guess what, lads? This was an international break we could actually enjoy for the first time in like 12 years. Can I just say something before we get into this? This is what football is about. These moments. This is something that it's like 2002 during the World Cup. I can remember seeing Damien Duff's goal in school when the TV was wheeled out to the Assembly Hall. I can remember 2016, all the lads in the house, and Robbie Brady's goal against Italy. You know, these are moments, and football sometimes is more than... I know we haven't reached anything yet. We haven't got to a World Cup yet. But that night, that moment of randomly hugging a bunch of grown-ass dudes who I've never met before in a pub, screaming ferally, and the lads getting a little teary-eyed in the bar when Troy Parrott did his interview after the game. That's what football is about. So if you don't like football and you watch that game and you still went, I don't love football, do you know what? Fair. Go find another sport, because you don't make up those moments, that passion, that everything. Wow.
Yeah,
what the fuck? We've got good at football for a week.
7 days has completely changed Irish football. For context, right, and I'm not going to do the full maths here and ruin everything on everyone, but you can work out how old I am if you're listening. The last time Ireland were in a World Cup, my Leaving Cert English 1 was interrupted in the middle of the exam for them to tell us that Steve Staunton had scored against, I think, Saudi Arabia. And we all went, way! And they went, shh, back to work.
So I'm actually going to correct it. It was Robbie Keane against Germany, because I was doing my English paper Germany? One at the same. It was. And we still talk about it to this day.
Unbelievable stuff.
I watched that in primary school with a TV rolled into the Assembly Hall so we could watch it.
Yeah, I had a horrible minus crack teacher who wouldn't let us watch it after the break, and we found out when the classroom next door started screaming because they were allowed to watch it.
This is exactly the point I'm making. Every one of us know where we were when that goal was scored. Every one of us know where we were when that Robbie Brady goal was scored. There's these moments. I think football is one of those sports that creates those beautiful moments, like David Beckham's goal, free kick against Greece, Richard Dunn's game against Russia. That
David O'Leary, Ray Houghton.
Sure, there's loads of these.
But David O'Leary, Ray Houghton, Jason McAteer, Ray Houghton twice, to be fair, actually, in 1988
but you have these moments, you'd have
Cascarino.
You have Jose Mourinho running down the touchline at Porto. You have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last second goal against Bayern Munich. There's these moments that I know they say, oh, you couldn't write it, because you can't. You can't.
This is why we love football. This is why we love the game. It's this sort of stuff. Who at half-time, because I certainly didn't, anyone at half-time think we had a hope in hell? Absolutely, yeah. Nah, not a chance. Not a chance.
Sorry, fuck you, Sabo, and fuck you, Ronnie, in a week. Beautiful karma. Karma's a beautiful circle.
I sat here after the last round of games and said we hadn't got a snowball's chance in hell of getting anything out of the Portugal game or anything out of the Hungary game. And I'll put my hands, I was wrong. I sat here and said the dentist needs to go. Actually, I said over the weekend when we were talking about it, the dentist needs to go. I was wrong. I think I might be wrong in this. It might actually be starting to come together for him. Because now you can really start seeing the results of his way of playing over the last two matches. So, yeah, I called for a set. I think he needs to stay for another trip around the block for the Euro qualifiers. Whatever happens in March.
Well, isn't his contract up before March? Anyway?
His contract is technically up tomorrow.
Yeah, so he's going to obviously get they'll give him the 2 years anyway. They'll give him the World Cup qualifiers.
They need to, yeah. I think what will happen is...
Or do you do the realistic thing and replace him with someone who gets us over the line? Do you look at managers who are currently out of work, though, and go, is there someone there who gets you over the line?
I don't. I think you let him have a crack at the playoffs, because a new manager coming in is still going to have to learn the ways and kind of get used to the players and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You give him a crack at the playoffs. Now, let's be clear: playoffs in March, not easy. When you look at some of the teams we have.
Yeah, let's take this back. Do we take this back, I suppose, to the starting point, and let's go through it, because there's a bit of chronological order here. A month ago, we were in the toilet. We had lost to Armenia. We had no hope. And then we were playing Portugal in Dublin, in a place that I think the Aviva, fair to say, over the last 5 years has become a bit of a ghost town in terms of... But fucking hell, that night, did the fans turn it on. I think there's that image of the fan crying back to Ronaldo. Hang that in the Louvre, lads.
Yeah.
Wow. I think you had the Portugal game that we'll have a quick look at, then obviously bringing that momentum into Hungary, and then kind of where we're at now with the playoffs, the structure, and where we're going. So I suppose let's lead off with the Portugal game, because nobody snowballed chance in Hill. And our group chat was popping off for the duration of that game.
So it's one of the best examples of team management I think I've ever seen from a data point of view. 23% possession, 3 shots on target, and 2 of them goals. And I am reliably informed that this lad, Bobby Martinez, doesn't know how to break down a low block, and that seems to be what was thrown at him for the entire Portugal game. People are talking about Ronaldo getting sent off, and delighted because he's a Gowl. But the game was over before he went off. Well, it wasn't over, but we were 2-0 up. There was no lack of quality out of that team. Very clinical, very opportunistic, very counter-attacky, very precise, did exactly what they needed to do, and then held it out for the second half against 10 men. Couldn't ask for much more than that. But this time, 4 days ago, we spent a lot of time planning our agenda here at the StatrCast, and it was like, we need to talk about Portugal. No, it'll be old by then. No, there'll be a Hungary game, but we might lose to Hungary. In the last 7 days, we've had the 2 best games I've seen Ireland play in years.
20 years.
Years. I don't know where this team has been the whole time.
Forward was the big thing for me, because I've seen us do war of attrition defending loads of times.
Yeah.
But what we've lacked was that quality in getting the ball forward and creating chances. So even though there was only 3 shots on goal, there was chances created, and it was just crosses in that, defenders were clearing out. There was a lot of what Ireland did very well against Portugal is they played to Portugal's weaknesses, which was get Ogbene running at Dalot. Dalot is low on confidence. He's low. He's just low on that side of the game right now. His quality, he's a Premier League quality fullback. He should be able to deal with a Championship level winger. But when the confidence is in the bin, and you've got a winger who's very, very good at, I run that way, and that's what I do.
You'd wonder whether Hallgrimsson has had a look at the trends we've spoken about. That he's looking at the Premier League and kind of going, long ball is back. Because fair enough, it's not the sexiest football to watch, but by God, does it work? In particular, when you've got teams who don't know how to deal with it. And we were playing the ball so much quicker into our forward line, bypassing our midfield. Our midfield is where our weakness is.
Yes.
We'll be talking about Josh Cullen in a little bit, fine. But is he an international level midfielder? No. He's probably not. And out of that
he's a Premier
team,
League captain, so he is
Well, let's put it a different way then. We've got a world-class goalkeeper in Caoimhín Kelleher. We've got a Premier League level defence there between O'Brien, Collins, O'Shea, I know he plays in the Championship, Coleman is there, etc. Up front, we've got Troy Parrott, all hail, who's knocked in 14 goals in 15 games, albeit in
9 minutes. 9 minutes, and that is now the national record for doing a football podcast this week without saying Troy Parrott. We lasted 9 minutes. Carry on.
Sorry.
First away hat-trick as well.
But we have him up front. We have Ferguson up front, who he's still got quality. He is a quality striker. Adamida has been doing it at Celtic for a while. Yeah, now I know he's off the books now, but he's been doing it there. I know Josh Cullen at Burnley, and we'll talk about him in a second. But outside of that, it's championship
level team.
Yeah. And it just seems to me that maybe the management took a look at this and went, it seems to be working for all these lads over at Brentford and all these lads over at Sunderland, etc., in the Premier League. Why not have a little bit of this?
Because the speed in which we got the ball up, it was the speed in which they got the... Seamus Coleman was immaculate. Every time he got the ball, it was find Ogbene. And it was happening down the other side of Ryan Manning. Every time he got the ball, it was where's Finn Azaz or where's...
Ogbene, until he pulled up, seemed like the only player on the Ireland side who could actually play with the ball at his feet. Other than that, like you were saying, Gary, we just had to like play the long balls because we're just not particularly good at the footballing part of football, you know.
But if you look at if you look at the history of Irish football, with the possible exception of the team that qualified for the 2002 World Cup, long ball was our game.
Yeah.
1990, 1998, or 1988, 1990. It was
94.
long ball, hit the strikers quick, hit the big man, put him
Jackie
under
Charlton
pressure.
Route 1.
You got your first song reference in there, did
There
you?
you go. But 2002 we were able to do it. 2001, 2002 we were able to do it. Why? Because we had Roy Keane in midfield.
Yeah.
Every other time it's been hit the man first and play to our strengths. The last 2 or 3 managers, Martin O'Neill, Stephen Kenny, and at the start Halgrimson, have tried to do that because it's like this is the way football needs to be played. No. You play the team in front of you and you hit them where they hurt.
And like
you play to your strengths, and we don't have ball carrying midfielders. So what the fuck were we ever doing trying to have our midfielders ball carry when what you've got is what we have and have always had was direct wingers.
Direct wingers and lads who are willing to put their foot in and put their body in the line where it gets hurt.
So that's and that's how we got at Portugal. Hungary, different game. 2 teams, winner takes all. Szoboszlai, world-class player. We're only world-class player on the pitch. I think it went to show how good he was on the day. The difference of having a world-class outfielder in your team. He was immaculate. On one side, a little disappointed that he's not at the World Cup, considering how well he played. On the other side, the second you start taking the piss out of the Irish fans, the world comes at you fast and you deserve what you get.
So I have a question here. I don't know, because I noticed this when it happened, and I was like, is he doing it to the fans?
Yes.
Or is he doing it to his management team in the dugout?
No, it was directed at the fans for the singing that they were doing, directors and stuff like that. It was directed at the fans.
If you have to ask, it's too close for comfort.
It was directed at the fans. It was directed at the fans because it was...
Professional footballers making gestures on the pitch like that is never a good idea.
This is true. This is very true.
Remember how Be Humble went?
Cursed for a year.
The world comes at you fast when you get too big for your boots too early. Szoboszlai was far and away the best player on the pitch. But that was 2 teams, and it was winner takes all on the day. And the difference...
Look, a part of why he shone so much is because, and I know the numbers will tell a different story, and I know he's a very popular man right now, but the sad fact of the matter is that Josh Cullen was pretty woeful against Hungary. He was how they got possession. His passing in from the the front half of the back half of the pitch, I'm sure it has a football name, was not good enough. It was, and as well, they were giving the ball away quite frequently when they were playing through the middle, and when they started going wide, high and long, as you said, that's when the damage was done. Szoboszlai may have benefited from a fairly weak Irish midfield performance, but he was unquestionably all over the pitch all of the time. It is a shame he won't be at the World Cup, but it's better than our guys not getting through.
Oh no, I think this is one of these ones that, like, and this is kind of where Gary was saying about having that world-class player. Look at what Wales had when they had Gareth Bale. Like, they upped their level because they had Gareth Bale. Ireland, when they had Roy Keane in the team, there was like there's almost like a standard bearer. Like if you look across the smaller countries, like Holland always outpunched their weight because they always had a couple of world-class hitters in their team. Portugal were a non-entity until Jose and Ronnie popped their heads up about the parapet, and now look at the quality of Portuguese football because that became the standard. Yep. And there's this thing of when you have one of these guys in the room, everybody else can see the level it takes to get to that level. And the problem with Irish football was in 2002, the FAI was run by John Delaney in a shambolic standard, and basically the push and promotion of Irish football was left to the wayside, going, sure, they all watched it, they'll get involved, while he was going off buying ice sculptures for his birthday party because he's a muppet. Like, you know what I mean? But you can see the countries that have had a world-class player in the last 15, 20 years and how they've used it as a springboard for upping the overall standard. Like, look at, like, the Dutch team is probably the weakest. It's been a long time, but you'd look at the team and go, Joe, Jesus Christ, for a small country, they've got heavy hitters across the country. Croatia, since Modric, look at how that standard has raised since Modric became Modric. Like, you look at these smaller countries and...
Portugal.
Portugal, prime example. But like we went to Hungary, right? And Szoboszlai obviously being their world class player. But it didn't come down to tactics. It didn't come down to our lovely, lovely numbers, which we're obviously going to talk about. We love talking about. What it came down to was passion. It came down to that he's the guy, Troy Parrott, when that ball dropped in the box, he was the guy who wanted it the most and was willing to he hit it like it was a stud. We're talking Irish football's hopes and dreams hung on half a centimetre of metal of a young man's shoe. Like,
ballerina stretch in a random angle, just get my foot on that ball kind of stuff. That young man have twice I've seen him now so impassioned in the interviews where he makes sense in a sports interview, which is almost impossible.
He's from Sheriff Street in Dublin.
Yeah. Absolute.
Like, he's a dub.
Yeah, no kidding. But at that as well, he wasn't up against the best defence in the world. Like the two centre-backs for Hungary were...
No, but he only had to deal with Ruben Diaz the day before we were earlier in the week. And had to deal with two world-class centre-backs.
For Hungary play in... I think they play... Some of them play Turkish Premier League level. Some of them play...
The Hungary team aren't bad. This is a common problem with, I think, English and Irish fans when we look at certain countries. That it's until you see their team sheet when you go... Oh, right. Like I was in the pub, we were talking about who we could get, and they were like, oh, Bosnia-Herzegovina, sure, we should batter them. Have you looked at their team? Oh, yeah, Edin Dzeko's up top. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. I know he's old, but oh, right. Mm. Now look at the players behind him.
But those teams are saying the same thing about us, like, you know, like, so... I mean, like, we just won 3 the competitive games in a row for the first time in I don't know how long. Now we have to go on and win 2 more. So it's a big ask, like, so...
So Gary, talk to me about this playoffs and the structure and what the hell is going on, because I'm so confused.
So there's a lot of different permutations going on here. So first of all, the playoffs aren't until March, so we've a bit of time before we actually have to. The way the playoffs will work is there is a semi-final and then there's a final. So we've 2 competitive games. Dean's right. We've 2 competitive games we need to win. As it stands right now, you have 16 teams who will go into that system. 4 teams will qualify from it if my maths are right. Ireland currently sit in pot 3 alongside Albania, Bosnia and Kosovo. What we need a bit of luck if we want to move up to pot 2 and avoid playing the likes of Slovakia, Czech Republic, etc., etc. So what we need to happen over the next... actually tonight I think the games are on. We need Germany. Ukraine not to beat Iceland.
Yep.
Or Wales not to beat North Macedonia, right? Either of those 2 results, plus Austria not to lose against Bosnia. That's what we want to happen. The reason we want that to happen is it bumps us up to pot 2, which means we get Wales, Albania, Kosovo, and probably
North Macedonia being the other one.
No, North Macedonia are in pot 4, so we avoid them anyway.
I thought pot 4 was the Nations League teams.
They are.
So they're already...
Because Ireland are in pot 3, we play the teams that are in pot 2. So pot 1 plays pot 4, pot 2 plays pot 3.
And pot 2 is at home to pot 3. So if it's pot 3, we're away versus rather than being pot 2 and playing at home.
Yes, correct.
And then we play a winner of pot 4 and 1.
Yeah, we get a home semi-final. Regardless of what happens, we'll be away for the final if we get through. Doesn't matter what happens, that'll be an away fixture. But if you look at the teams that you could be playing there, Italy, Ukraine, Poland, Sweden, Romania.
Yeah,
there's some tasty teams in there where you're looking at it and going, we need to have the same level of performance that we had against Portugal and Hungary to have a chance. Now, personally, what I hope happens, I hope we get into pot 2 and we draw Scotland. I think that would be phenomenal.
Scott McTominay.
McSauce.
He wants to take
realistically, what you want is Kosovo. And
the Italian.
What Kosovo have done to Sweden recently?
I know. But this is also a piss poor Sweden team, and like I know this is the luck now. We'll pull a Sweden in the second leg of it, and Isaac and Gyökeres will make me eat every word that I've said about them for the whole fucking year. Even though I'll double down and stand by every word I've said about both of them.
Now, look, you want to avoid... personally, I think you want to avoid Sweden. I think you need to avoid Ukraine and Poland as well, because traditionally they're the types of teams that we struggle against.
Yeah.
The big, strong, physical teams you want to avoid. And I lump Romania in there as well. I think we have a chance against Scotland in a war of attrition. And the rest of it then is just it's a toss-up, really.
Yeah, Joe, it's nice to get on this podcast and actually, instead of sitting here dismantling Irish football and doing the same rigmarole of how Irish football is broken, how we fix it, we know we can get better. We know we can improve it. We know there's a load of work that can be done. But for the first time in about a decade, we have a little thing called hope. And I know it's the hope that kills you, but I swear to God that if we somehow fall arse backwards into a World Cup, I'm going. Statter is going stateside. Our little app is going to be shown to every Yankee Doodle that I can find in a bar for this. I don't care how I'm getting over there. If I have to do it like we did back in the famine by reaching into the cargo hold of a boat, I will. I don't care.
What's this wee talk, Spud Stealer?
Shut you.
We'll smuggle it, Jimmy. It's fine. It's fine. Well, look,
I'll just man the boat. So
it's been a great week. It's been a great week for Irish football. We're in a World Cup. We're in a World Cup playoff. This then breeds more interest in Irish football, which then feeds the next round of players coming through. We're doing really, really well at the Under-17 World Cup at the moment. Winning on penalties against Canada. Michael Noonan is absolutely flying it over there. I think he has 3 goals in 4 games, I think is what he has. I think he scored actually in every game, to be fair. We've got Switzerland at 2:45 tomorrow. If anyone is not in work or is and has access to a TV, I'd urge you to watch it, because some of the football is actually really, really good. Jimmy's smiling there.
I work surrounded by TVs, and most of them have sport on all day long.
There you go.
The Ireland Under-17 is going to be lovely to see. Hopefully, after the shenanigans against Canada last week, it would be lovely to see them progress.
What this does, though, it feeds... This potentially feeds more international quality players who don't have affiliations with England, Wales, Scotland, wherever, to maybe consider, actually, do you know what? Let's have a look at Ireland. And I know you kind of think, oh, well, they don't have, did they grow up in Ireland? Should they be playing? And there's a lot of people who would argue that point. Again, look at our history. Our top players, with the exception of the 2 Keanes and Duff, etc.
Well, I would always argue that the most famous export from Ireland is our people, and then we hump our way into every country's family tree. And then if you've got a very angry Irish mammy or Irish daddy, chances are they're going to tell you, guess which country you're playing for.
Absolutely.
I know you're living in Rio de Janeiro, little Pablo McIntyre, but you will be going out there for Ireland, not Brazil.
Ray Houghton was Scottish. Jason McAteer is a Scouser. I can keep going. Cascarino was English. There's plenty of big players in Irish football history who were not born.
But it matches our history as a country, so I don't see any problem in it.
I don't either.
What I like the look of, though, is how this has a knock-on effect to League of Ireland attendance in Irish sports, the participation at grassroots level. So, a couple of weeks ago, Gary, you'll be very proud to know I went for my first League of Ireland away day to the Treaty and Bray playoff final, where Treaty lost in the last minute. Last minute goals when you're in the receiving end of them, they're harsh. But then it was lovely to see Bray get battered by Waterford or something in the reverse fixture to see who stayed in good. But the atmosphere, the lads with the flares, there was a couple of thousand people there. It was a lovely day out. We finished our own match, got straight in the car, drove to Athlone, watched the game, and was home and all by 8 o'clock with a hot dog in the belly. It was a great day out. Yeah. We've already bought our season tickets for next year. I know, Gary, you're a season ticket for St. Pat's. There was 5 of us who bought our season tickets for Treaty that day. So, the more...
League of Ireland football is riding the crest of a wave at the moment. And had we not had all what the last 7 days with the international team does, it just enhances that.
Yes.
Every Irish football fan now, is looking at League of Ireland football going, we have a credible league that we can enjoy, albeit not to the same quality, fine, but it's still a credible league, and we've got a national team who are doing stuff to make us proud again.
And most importantly, if you download the FAI Connect app, you can follow Somerville Rovers and my lovely junior team's adventures throughout the season. Because everything's actually gone centralised and digital for the first time ever this year. So it means, Jimmy, you can download the FAI app and follow my team and check in on our results every Sunday.
I only downloaded it last weekend, actually.
Yeah,
and I
it's
did
brilliant.
your team.
It's
You were on
such
bench.
small little bits and pieces. But like I was
There's
getting
so
like
much
2
in
weeks
it.
ago, we played a
Tons of
match
it.
and we won 4-3 in the 98th minute. Indirect free kick in the 98th minute, and I got like 3 or 4 text messages from lads in other teams going, "What? Explain to me what the hell that match was," because it was like 1-0 until like the 75th minute, and then we went from 1-0 up to 3-1 down to 4-3 win, and but I had lads in other teams that were meshing going, "Explain." So like there is a push to promote and improve Irish football now, and it's lovely to see. So Jimmy, I know you have data, so let's have a bounce off of your lovely Irish football data, because that is going to be a nice transition into the guys that are currently in the Irish setup that are Premier League players into back to reality with Premier League football this weekend.
And fantasy football, which is coming back to give my life meaning once more now that I've had to peel the Irish jersey off for a couple of days. Yes, I had a little look at the players that were playing on Sunday night, and had a little look at how they're doing in terms of fantasy. And there are a couple of stars. Amazingly, the man who I was just criticizing for not being good enough in midfield is, by a great distance, the best fantasy asset in the Irish squad so far this year is Josh Cullen at Burnley. Midfield general there, involved in a lot of assists early season. He's picking up 15 points per game, which is Man City high. And he's on 170 points for the year, 13th ranked overall among midfielders. Absolute sleeper. If he's available in your draft league, get him right now, because he's nailed on. Whatever else is going to happen, he is nailed on. He might have a bit of a wobble this weekend after the week he's had, but other than that, he's a great one to have. After that, everybody's going to say Collins and Kelleher because of Brentford. And the thing is, Collins is firing. He's getting a respectable 9 points a game at a team who have had some defensive troubles. Kelleher, not so much. Kelleher has not been busy because he's got Collins in front of him, so he's only tracking a couple of points a week. He's still the 13th ranked goalie, but I would say both of the Brentford boys right now are long-term investments for the season. Pick them up, stick them on your bench, wait for them to come good. They're like that bottle of Buckfast that you keep under a hot water bottle just in case you want to upset someone. After that, it's a bit skinny, unfortunately. Seamus Coleman, legend that he is, has 2 minutes of Premier League game time this year. Matty Doherty, similar issues. He's got 27 points across the season so far. And other than that, I have missed the very obvious one in defence for Everton. My apologies, Mr. O'Brien. It's Jake O'Brien, who's part of an incredibly statistically valuable Everton team this year. Everton assets just keep on going, and it's very even between them. There's not too many standouts. Sure, they don't have a fucking striker, but if you're not sure what to do right now and you found yourself without Palace or Arsenal or Newcastle defenders, grab Jake O'Brien, because he's racking up 10 points a game. 10 points a game is the sweet spot. Below that, send him home. Above that, get him in. So that's Irish football in the Premier League. There's not a lot of it. There's a huge number of really, really strong championship players, and hopefully things like a hat-trick are enough for a Troy Parrott to get snapped up and maybe start appearing in our game next year, hopefully.
Will never happen.
Why?
Will never happen. He's never coming back to English football, and I don't blame him.
Why? What happened?
He was the next Harry Kane in the Spurs academy. And this is actually going to be a beautiful transition into the first game we want to talk about, which is the North London Derby. But Jose Mourinho actually is the guy who promoted Troy Parrott from the youths into the seniors, and then obviously sold, I think it was the next manager straight after him we sold him, or maybe it was the tail end of Jose when he was sold. But a lot of it had to do with he was the Harry Kane, the next wave of Harry Kane, the second coming of Harold. A lot of pressure. He was Spurs' next wonder kid. And he said himself in interviews he wasn't enjoying his football anymore. And since going to Holland, he's able to live like a young fella who's 23 and Irish, living abroad and able to enjoy his sport that he just happens to be very good at. I don't think he's the type who wants to chase the Premier League trophy. He just wants to have a very good career, enjoy himself, see the world. And more credit to him for that. Not everybody has to be the guy that goes, I want to be the next Ronaldo. He goes, I'm 23. Maybe I'll go to Spain next. Maybe I'll go to Japan next. Who knows? He'll just bounce. He'll be a fellow who bounced around different European countries and enjoying his ball for his career. And I say credit to him for it.
Fair play.
But anyway, the fact that he was at Spurs and he was supposed to be the next coming of Harry fucking Kane, I think it's a good time to talk about how weak that side of London are, because the first matchup that we want to look at this weekend is obviously the North London Derby. two super defensive teams, not in the sense that they're like, oh, let's stack at the back. But that's where their points come from. And as I've said 101 times already this year, if it's after an international break, stack at the back. So I think in terms of assets, in terms of trajectory, in terms of everything, great match to start this conversation with. Jimmy, take me away.
Arsenal. And I'll tell you why. Right? No, it's like every other match I had a look at and said, who would we pick? On this one, it's Arsenal across the board. Spurs concede twice as many goals per game as Arsenal do, right? And that might be acceptable, but they don't have anyone scoring goals either. Richarlison is their highest scorer this season on 4, 2 of which came against a very Bambi-legged Burnley at the start of the season. Arsenal defence, we've spoken about ad nauseum here, it doesn't need saying again. Any of the 4 are absolutely gold. Midfield are now completely bankable as well because Odegaard's injured, so Zubamendi's getting time to actually come into his own. Bukayo Saka is still there and still banging in 15 points a game. Any Arsenal defender is a good Arsenal defender. Rice is bankable. I mean, Spurs, if you look at Spurs by comparison, Richarlison, okay, Van de Ven, good player, not getting a whole pile of points. Richarlison is their top scorer on 4.
Yeah, but you also,
on points, he's rubbish.
I know what you're saying.
That's all he does.
Arsenal have conceded half the goals that Spurs have. Spurs have the third best defence in the Premier League this year.
They do. They have the third best defence. They're coming up against the best defence, but they also have the second lowest shot creation of any club in the league after Burnley. So I can see why Richarlison is not scoring. It's not just because he's a duck-faced fraud. It's also because he's not getting fed. Their midfield isn't there. Their defence might be okay, but their defence is not anywhere near Arsenal's. I think this is going to be a landslide, lads. And if genuinely any Arsenal player, I can't see a pick there for Spurs at all. I hate saying that, but I cannot see a pick there for Spurs. It's not like they're Wolves. It's just Arsenal are that much better in every spot in the pitch. Pick up Arsenal players.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Jimmy on that one from a fantasy perspective. Overall, I think this has 0-0 written all over it. When I was looking at it, you've got the first and third, level of the first and third best defenses in the Premier League. Spurs have nothing going forward. I don't rate Gyökeres and haven't from the start of the season. So for me, yeah, it's either a 1-0 to Arsenal or it's a 0-0. But
sorry, don't upset Dean by saying bad things about Gyökeres.
No, I'll put my hands up and I'll say he hasn't been doing the business at all, but Arsenal still have goal scorers and,
they do.
Saka and
they do.
Rice,
I just think they won't do much against a very, very stingy Spurs defence.
Yeah. You've got 2 very stingy defences, and statistically speaking, we've had 2 international breaks, right? We had 9 clean sheets in the first one out of 10 games. We had 6 clean sheets in the last international break. So that's saying to me that 75% of all football games so far this season after an international break have ended with a clean sheet. If you're following just flat ass numbers right there, you're saying
0-0.
There's a 3 and 4 chance of a clean sheet in this game after an international break. What?
Well, there's 2 teams in each game.
Yes.
So it's 15 over 40.
No. There was 20 games of football played, and there was 15 of them that ended with a clean sheet.
There's 20 played each week. There's 40 teams played. 15 of them got clean sheets. 15 over 40. Numbers. No, anyway, look.
You want to go by individual? Yeah.
The pattern is true, right? The pattern is absolutely undeniable. You've been dead right on this twice. More tellingly so the first one than the second one. But I think the second one, it's going to be even more compounded by the fact that everyone played 2 games last week. Szoboszlai, he who must not be named, will not be on full form this week. Like Collins and Kelleher will not be at full tilt this week. Like there's a lot. It's going to slow down the pace of the whole thing.
Is, like lads like this, right? So if we were to look from a pure up and down perspective, the Irish lads are going to be bouncing back into their dressing rooms this week. And so this international break is mental because you're going to have lads who will be bouncing back into the dressing rooms after a very, very strong international break where they've either qualified or put their country on the verge for qualification versus the countries where someone who's after getting a kick in the necks and now they have to get back on the grindstone and go again. So I think that kind of stuff is going to be compounded this time around.
Yeah, I think so.
I think this game screams to me 1-0 to the Arsenal all day long. If I'm singling out a particular asset to look at this for that game, I'm going to say Declan Rice. In terms of defensive contributions, he's way up the charts. In terms of he takes all the set pieces, he's way up the charts. And if you're going up against a defence like Spurs as well, which, as Gary, you said, has been also very stingy this year under Thomas Frank, it screams 1-0 to the Arsenal through a set piece. And the guy who takes all the set pieces is Declan Rice. So from a defensive action contribution and this, that, and the other, I think the most bankable asset across both teams right now for this game will be Declan Rice. The chances of a clean sheet, high. The chances of an assist, high. The chance of defensive contributions, high. High, welcome to my team. Versus, I don't know, which one of the lucky dip forwards are going to play for Spurs this week? Is it going to be Richarlison, Colin Moani, and Brennan Johnson? Is it going to be Xavi Simons, Matthias Tell, Kuleveski still to come back from injury, Madison still to come back from injury? It's a lucky dip in terms of the front line over there at the moment. And Dominic Solanke has been filling his time with showing us all his anime collection over on TikTok. So if anybody hasn't seen that, lads, it's brilliant. It's really nice to see a fella just enjoying his hobby and shit like that. But it's just the maddest page ever. Yes, I'm a Premier League footballer. Here, come look at my comic collection and toys.
I think, honestly, I don't think it's a 1-0. I'm hearing a lot of 1-0. I think it's 2-0 because it's still a derby, and I think Arsenal will just want to hurt the fans.
I think that's all fair.
Yeah, I think
you all think, yeah, okay. Dean, asset-wise, kind of on the same page as us there? Rice or defender?
Yeah, Rice. And you know what? Just because, he has proven that he is capable of coming up with some magic, I think Van de Ven isn't the worst shout. He's probably arguably their best player of the season. So yeah, if you're like short on defenders, like, and you're just looking for someone to hopefully get an assist or maybe even score a goal.
I think he is their best player this season.
I
think that's a debate.
Yeah. But I don't think I'm even looking at it.
What I will say is, on the flip side of this, is keep an eye out for cards in this game. The North London derby for maybe the past 4 years has probably been the most entertaining of the big team matchups. Like, a lot of these teams have nearly cancel each other out in these games. But the North London derby still seems to have a bit of that.
Yeah, like normally if we were staring down the barrel of an increased clean sheet week, I would be saying Porro and Romero, but this is the game where one of them gets a straight red. Like I think
you're looking at 5+ bookings across both teams. You're looking at if I was a betting man, I'd be saying 5+ bookings in the game. I think it'll be a low scoring affair. This, that, and the other. So maybe if you're looking at the stack at the back kind of approach this week, it's pick your Arsenal, pick your Declan Rice, and then move the hell along. I didn't fully get what you're saying about Van de Ven, but I think that's also one of the days where Bukayo Saka goes, okay, I'm just going to run at people until you kick me.
Yeah.
And he's quite good
at
at that.
He's the most fouled player in the Premier League.
Yeah.
No one gets more flack than poor Bukayo.
He may get injured as well, so you want to keep an eye.
Yeah.
Fantasy perspective.
Yeah, there's a lot to look out for in this game. It'll be a fascinating matchup. But Arsenal, you're going to roll on and favourites for the league. But until City, and I think it's a good time to I want to look at that for a sexy, slick transition.
They're not sexy if you call them out, John.
They are, because we're going from first to second to the favourites to Pep's machine, which is chundering along in the background. And Jimmy, do you remember the way I mentioned literally a minute ago, fellas bouncing back into dressing rooms after international duty? Erling Haaland, 14 goals in qualification. Norway have qualified top of their group. Unbeaten.
Their games as well, actually. I think they
yep. Is it Italy? Was the other team? Was Italy the team second in their group?
Just to point out, Ireland were also unbeaten in this campaign, or unbeaten at Aviva, I should say, in this campaign. But...
Unbeaten at Aviva, because we're not going to talk about Armenia. That day never happened.
But anyway.
That's all right. Nobody was there to watch it anyway. So
but Erling Haaland has 14 goals in the Euro qualifiers for Norway. Yeah. They topped their group unbeaten. Like, this is a fella whose oil has not needed a change because the machine is still just driving on. He's in scary form. And if you've just been the guy who qualified Norway for their first World Cup since before Ireland were in a World Cup the last time around, that's how long we're talking?
1994.
94. Yeah. So that's longer. That's, as I said, longer than since Ireland were last in a World Cup. And he's the poster boy and he's the guy dragging him there. That's more impressive to me than Ronaldo winning the Euros with Portugal because of the quality of players around him. Me personally. It also puts him on like 33 goals in all competitions so far this season in fucking November.
Yeah.
He's the most dangerous striker in the world right now. He is. If you are a defender, he is the most dangerous striker in the world right now because the way Pep's using him this year, and we've discussed this, again, it's high ball football. It works, pointed at the big lad. But Newcastle, are. I know we've said they're good home and bad away, but the truth is they can't hold clean sheets. They're not getting a volume of goals from any particular player. Voltmat's coming in, but he's not there yet. They have the lowest rate of successful tackles in the league. Second is Arsenal because they don't need to make tackles. Newcastle have the lowest rate of successful tackles. Now, part of that's because of a strong midfield three, as we've touched on before, but part of it's because their defence is not what we hoped it would be. I think this is going to be a City win. I think it's going to be Newcastle's first loss at home in quite a while.
I think this is
But
a
I have a
triple
punt.
captain Haaland week if we're talking.
Oh no,
about
I'm using
friends
John's
across the
system.
pond.
I'm using John's system. I captained Mateta because he's playing against Wolves. But I have a punt for you for Newcastle. And I know it hurts me to pick Mateta. You guys know why. I have a punt for you because the City players are kind of obvious, right? There's the really obvious one, which is the robot. Like, nobody's going to question he's going to score. If he doesn't score today, he'll do it tomorrow. Foden and Diaz shortly behind him. But I'm going to give you a punt that we've mentioned before. He's playing for Newcastle. He's not a headline grabber, thankfully, given his history. He has been plugging away on 15 points per week, which puts him in the top 15-ish of mids for the year. It's Sandro Tonali. Yep. Tonali is the punt. If you're going to get points out of a losing game for Newcastle, he's the man who's going to get them because he seems to be just given 110 every time.
I think this game has the potential to be very, very interesting because Newcastle at home are brilliant. And in the bigger teams against the bigger games, St. James's Park comes alive. And that's a day where you're going to see, and this is where like Otamendi, and it's probably maybe also the downside of Otamendi, is he's a bit of trying to say it nicely, he's a bit of a passion merchant player. Like, he suits Newcastle so well as a profile of player because he'll run for the fans almost. If that, like, the fans have taken to him very quickly because of the shift he puts in.
Yeah,
because of the shift he puts in, that's the fans have automatically taken him to their hearts. I think he bullies that remember, Newcastle are massive as a team. Set pieces are very, very dangerous.
They're unbeaten in all competitions at home this season.
Yeah, they don't lose at home.
This is where
they're a physically strong side as well. Like, if you look at that midfield of Jolinton, Tonali, and Guimaraes, they're big, strong, physical lads. I think they overrun City in midfield. I think the only way City win this is, again, going back to that thing of hit the big man early. But as we know, Dan Burn at the back has been winning aerial battles for fun all season. I'm not saying he's gonna win everything against Haaland. I don't know.
The tactical matchup there is Haaland drops short, plays the ball left or right to Xerxes. This is where Xerxes and Doku should both be playing in this game, by the way. This is a game for Xerxes and Doku. Twist it left and right and let them run. And then Haaland get behind.
Your midfield from Newcastle comes back in, because if Haaland drops 10 to 15 yards, then he's dropping into Tonali Guimaraes territory. And Guimaraes in particular has the strength to hold off Haaland. He does. He does.
So he does.
Where you're not beating Newcastle is where you're not getting through Newcastle is that rearguard action, though. Like that back four of 6'3" plus. You're not playing over them. You're not playing over them.
This is why I think Newcastle might nick this as well. Because I think they bully City. I think they bully City off the pitch in this one. Woltemade up front. He's coming off a good international break. He scored twice for Germany during the week, so his confidence is going to be high. He's a big, strong, physical forward as well. I think he bullies the lads at the back. Diaz for Portugal didn't have a great game against Troy Parrott. So I think Woltemade coming in here, he'll fancy his chances. He will fancy his chances. I think he is someone you pick up. I would agree with you on Tonali, because I think Guimaraes possibly gets himself booked for the cause. And then from a City perspective, Haaland is obvious, but then because I think they're going to be playing long ball, I think you look at someone like Nico O'Reilly, who'll probably play right back, possibly Guardiola, who we know has a wand of a left foot for playing those balls. I think you actually avoid someone like Foden, Doku, and Cherky. I think they don't. I don't know whether they do anything in this game at all.
My fear about possibility that when they go high, we go low. There is which of them play
between Cherky and Doku.
Cherky, Doku, Foden. I think it's two of the three.
Cherky doesn't play because Doku will play because of how well he played against Liverpool in the last round, so he'll hold his place. And
Sure, he
Foden
got
has
2
just been
assists the
doing it
game
all
before
season.
that, so Pep doesn't care. That's the flip
Yeah.
side
Yeah,
of
but
that.
I think because Newcastle are a physical team as well, Turkey is very slight.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
get
think
that. So
Foden
maybe
is coming
someone who
on.
can run at them and win a few
Yeah,
free kicks here and there. And
yeah.
it'll be
So,
from a tactical perspective, it's a fascinating matchup because you've got
Mhm.
City's slightly new, their kind of modified style. I think this is the day where their previous style of smother football would be perfect for them to beat Newcastle. Just frustrate that home crowd, get them on edge, keep the ball, piss them off a little bit, and then you can start picking the gaps. But City's new way of playing, of being a bit more vertical, a bit more kind of quick in the transitions, I think this has the potential to be a great matchup. Obviously, I'm going with Erling Haaland as the asset of the game, and we move forward.
That'd be an interesting one.
Yep.
yeah.
On we go.
Yep, we all agree with that. Just pick Erling Haaland, and if you're
Just
not
pick
captaining
Haaland.
him, and if you're not
Yeah.
captaining him, captain whoever the hell is playing up against Wolves, which in this case is
I'm
Mateta this week.
I'm picking Bultamade ahead of Holland.
Okay,
Ballsy.
okay.
You're insane.
Okay, let's come
Okay.
back to that claim next week. Anyway, moving forward, Gary, your precious Liverpool and Szoboszlai, who's going to have a very cold and quiet summer.
Which I'm
Yeah.
happy about because it means he doesn't get injured.
Yeah, but you're playing Forest this week.
Yeah, that's a Forest win.
It is.
Fuck. Okay, that was quick.
That's a Forest win. No,
Yeah.
no. This has Forest win written all over it, and I'll tell you why. Forest, now that they're playing Dodgeball, is very much hit the big man. And same stuff we've spoken about for the last half hour. Liverpool cannot defend against that; they just can't do it. Sean Dyche has a reasonably good record against Liverpool, both at Burnley and at Everton. I don't see why it won't continue at Forest. City Ground is not a place Liverpool like to go. There's a few players in that Liverpool team who are short on confidence already. Szoboszlai wasn't one of them. He is now. I actually think I worry for Liverpool in this game. I think this is a 2 or 3-1.
Even after the hockeying against Man City before the international break, you think they're coming out?
Yep.
You don't think that they're putting Forest to the sword after that game?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, I'm seeing 2 shaking heads. Dean, you're awful silent up there.
I'm with Gary.
I don't
For
know.
the record.
Kind of. On the one hand, I'm thinking Szoboszlai and Kirkgate could be on a bit of a downer after being knocked out, but on the other hand, I think they might be very angry and might just come out all guns blazing and be glad to be back home and Liverpool and the natural habitat. And again, what is it? Deutsch's 3rd game, is it, in charge of Nottingham before?
A bit more, but anyway.
Anyway, but I don't know. They're just so poor this season. I just don't really see it happening. But I don't know. I think I'm thinking a win for Liverpool. Like, they have to turn around at some point. They have to. Like, it can't go on. It can't go on like this.
They can't. No.
Oh, yes, it can. Sorry, I had to do it. Oh, yes, it can.
Who wants numbers? I got a little statistical anomaly for you boys if you want it.
Please.
There are 2 players between Liverpool and Forest. There are 2 players who have scored 20 points or more in the last 2 game weeks over at Statter HQ. Can you name them?
Midfielders, McAllister and Szoboszlai, or Gravenberch, 2 of the 3.
Excellent. John, all 3 of your guesses are gone. Gary?
Gibbs White.
Correct.
I thought you said Liverpool.
And
Sorry.
then I'm going to go with Ekatike.
Oh, swing and a miss there. Dean, say what I want to hear.
Who did John say again? He spoke very quickly there. Did you say?
He said a lot of Liverpool players. It's not a Liverpool player.
Oh, shit.
I know who it is then. Sorry, I thought it was one from each team.
Go on.
No, it's Anderson.
It's Elliot Anderson. Yeah.
It's Elliot Anderson all day long. And I think I'm a little worried that Dyche ball isn't as Anderson friendly as Nuno ball was, but I think Gibbs White is going to pop off this week. And if you want to punt, because it's a Dyche team now, I love Milenkovic. He's just a big wall of rage at the back, and that's the kind of fella that gets more time in this kind of team. Chris Wood has predictably gone off a cliff, but that's where it's at. Gibbs White, Anderson. I don't see any Liverpool assets this week, really. Nobody's
At the
on
Liverpool
form.
side, it's Ekatike, it's McAllister, it's...
But minutes, though. Minutes.
Gravenberch.
Like you're thinking like a football fan, and that's your downfall in this game, John. You know football. I don't. I'm looking at time on the pitch. Ekatike and McAllister just ain't getting it.
I think
Not as
Slot
much
will
as they
wake
have in
up
the
at some
past.
point though and realise that he has to be giving Ekitike nearly 90 minutes a game. He's their best signing of the summer, and he's probably one of their only informed players.
And this game could be it, because as far as I know, Salah is out for this game, right? So
Is he?
now all of a sudden, yeah, and that changes the dynamic for Liverpool up front. All of a sudden now you've got 3 slots to fill between Gakpo, Ekitike, Isak, who is claiming he's fully fit, but Potter is saying he's not, and Florian Wirtz. Across that, you've got 4 or 5 players to fill that 3. Ekitike is your banker.
Yeah.
Seems as where football's going back to the mid-90s. Just go 4-4-2 and then you take up front with someone else.
Isak, yep.
Yeah, done.
The 2 guys up front.
That would work for them right now. I've said it before that the formations Liverpool are playing are wrong. The formation that Liverpool should be playing is a 4-4-2 diamond or a 3-5-2. Those are the 2 formations that team is built for. It's a 3-5-2 if they got one extra centre back in, but right now it's a 4-4-2 diamond formation with Ekitike and Isaac with Wirtz in the hole, and then you can bring Gakpo and Salah in. Salah could actually play on the inside as one of the 2 and cheat a little bit and be able to just chill out up front and wait for his moments to play. That kind of way. It doesn't need to be an old school 2 statics. It can be Salah floating around here doing what Salah does and the other guy doing all the shuttle running. You know what I mean? Like this idea that it's a flat dynamic.
Salah will be gone, but
yeah.
But I think Ekitike, if you're looking at anyone from a Liverpool perspective, Ekitike, possibly Gravenberch is your banker because he plays all day long. Virgil obviously as well plays all day long. But if you're looking at a punt, and Jimmy, I know you picked Milinkovic.
I did.
I think you look at one of the and forgive me, I haven't looked at the stats, but you need to have a look at who the Forest strikers are. There's 2 big, powerful strikers. Iwanyi is one, and I'm not sure, is it Igor Jesus is the other?
Yeah,
I think it's Jesus you look at.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of see where you're going with big physical centre forward who's going to try bully boy that back line that have been known to not like the ball over the top.
What's happened.
So I think this is a very interesting one. So you're all saying 2 out of 3 are saying a Forest. Dean, you think that it's surely
Liverpool will turn the corner. Yeah, I think they'll not turn a corner. I just think they'll beat Forest. It could be it's as usual again next week, but this week I think they'll beat Forest.
God, I hope you're right, Dan.
I got pelters, Gary, on TikTok for saying if this form continues, Slot doesn't see Christmas in the job. Liverpool fans are starting to hate me because I also said Van Dijk is not the greatest centre back in the Premier League era.
The only way we will know we are being fair.
Well, they got very upset with me.
All of the fan bases hate us. Once all of the fan bases hate us, we know we've done a good job.
Well, as a Liverpool fan, I hate to say it, but John, Virgil van Dijk is not the greatest defender in Premier League history. He's probably not the greatest defender in Liverpool Premier League history.
Hansen.
It's Sammy Hupia.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
It's Sammy Hupia. It's as simple as that. Even if he hasn't won a Premier League medal, he's still the best centre half that Liverpool have had in the Premier League. And Slot is under pressure. He is under pressure.
There's another Irish song reference. Just to keep
there
going.
You go.
Anywho.
But yes, he is under pressure, and if this continues, he doesn't see Christmas. He doesn't see.
No, it can't continue like this. Otherwise,
I think though, he's only 2 points off third right now. I think the fact that the league is so condensed this year that he actually might make
it's more this run of form. If they go
form
into Christmas having lost 8 out of 10 games, you can't.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
But anyway, let's move forward, Dean. Now that we've talked about Liverpool, let's go talk to you about your side corner of the internet, Dean. It's Manchester United with Benjamin Sesko out injured for a month when they
for a month.
Yeah, a month. Now it's about an hour before we got out. He's out for a month.
I was about to. That happen for United, though?
I was about to say, Gary, that's not really a loss for United. He's low on confidence. He misses a lot of opportunities, not straightforward opportunities, but we saw him in the last game. Who the fuck were we playing in the last game? I can't remember, but
Spurs.
Spurs, and it was about the 85th minute, and he got passed through. He was free on goal, and Van de Ven just came and just took him out. He was just.
Oh no! The fastest centre back on the fucking planet chased him down.
Oh well, he's fucking 6'2". You would expect him to have bigger strides than him, but anyway, he just when controlling the ball, he just looks a bit, he's kind of getting caught under his feet. So I do think that I think a month out will actually probably do him good, and it will also do United good as well. Play Cunha up front, play Mount on the left, and Mbuemo on the right. That's the way I all played for 3. And yeah, but we also have Brighton, and Brighton sorry, not Brighton, but Everton, and Everton are having a
I think
pretty
Man
good
United win this
season.
game easy, to be honest with you. It's at
Yeah,
Old Trafford, not the new Everton Stadium. I think that connection with Mbuemo and Ahmed down the right-hand side is really blossoming at the moment.
it is.
You
Yeah,
pick one of the two of them. If you're looking for if you're over in the sister site and you're looking for your differentiator, it's Ahmed, because a lot of people have started picking up Mbuemo in the last month.
Mhm.
And Mbuemo and Ahmed are connecting with each other every other play, that side of the pitch. You can see where the gaps are in the United team, left side wing and centre midfield. Dean, I mentioned this last week, you weren't here. Actually, one of you weren't here. United have conceded 22 goals all season, 5 when Casemiro is on the pitch. He is the most important player in that Man United dressing room. Carlo Ancelotti has brought him back in out of the cold to be Brazil's captain once again. And
wow.
he's 3 goals in the last 3 games, or is it 2 in the last 3 games in the Brazilian?
2 and 3.
2 and 3, or whatever it is. He's back being the captain of the Brazil team. Carlo Ancelotti literally said last night, the only non-negotiable player in my squad and in my team is Casemiro.
I
Does
mean,
that
he's
make
top
Jamie
5 for
Carragher
United.
wrong again?
Right.
Does that
Is
make Jamie Carragher wrong again?
Yes, it does.
It makes Jamie Carragher wrong on an almost daily basis.
Leave the
Yes.
football before it leaves
But I
you.
like pointing out when he's wrong.
To a well-timed schedule in front of a camera weekly for money. No, Casemiro's top 5 for United. He is their second highest scoring midfielder this season, behind Bruno Almighty, who's still racking up. Lads, I have so much respect for him. I know he's a whiny little kid, and I know he looks like your man from 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps. He's got 19 points per game. He's on 217 fucking points.
Scored a hat-trick last night for Portugal. Has scored...
It's unbelievable.
Is it 40 goal involvements in his last 45 games across all competitions? Something
if we're
mental
talking
like that?
blue sky, blank check, wild card, trading with someone who doesn't know what they're doing, he is that for United what Haaland is for City. He's not getting the same goals, but in fantasy terms, he is the absolutely obvious nailed on. Doesn't need saying.
He's a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one
every day of the week.
He's a first-round draft pick.
I'm going to give you one that hasn't been mentioned because he's racked up 12 points per game. He's on a consistent 15 plus ish thereabouts the last 3 weeks.
Delete.
He seems to be. It is Delict. Yep. Yeah, he's doing the do for United.
He's really in form at the moment. Yeah,
so, he may be easier got in a draft league than Bruno. You're not going to be drafting at this point. You're not going to be trading Bruno away unless you've got someone right over a barrel. But the league might still be on the table for someone who's not paying attention. So get him. Beg, borrow, steal that one.
Well, also, when you start drafting on Statter, he's going to be one of your key points to get in your early in your draft. So I can only see Man United winning this game. I think the gaps that are there, where Everton have their issues, is out front. Beto and Barry both look better when the other one plays. Like, that's a problem, that your centre forward looks better when he doesn't play. They're creating chances. Grealish, Ndai, and Idris Gueye. I think it's the 3 of them that are the Everton assets.
Dewsbury Hall. I mean, Van de Ven,
Garner.
Van de Ven, Tarkovsky, the other big lad at the back. I mean, Garner. You could take your Grealish. There's an army of them at Everton. There's just nobody's put the thing in the hole.
Yeah.
And if there was, they'd be a top half team. I have never seen a squad more obviously crying out to go spending on a striker in January than this. Never. Because all of the other pieces are working beautifully.
At the back,
Pickford
solid.
is a legend.
Jordan Pickford's a good goalkeeper. Defence, Jordan Pickford in goals. If you're drafting and you end up with Jordan Pickford, you're not unhappy. At the back, if you get Tarkovsky or O'Brien in a mid-stack of a draft, you're not unhappy. If you're looking at the midfielders in Guy, Ndai, or Grealish, you're not unhappy if you get any of them. The problem is that there isn't an outball in terms of the guy putting it in the net. So that's why I think it's a United win. But that's not to say that there isn't going to be plenty of good, worthwhile assets to pick up from Everton either.
If you were to take Everton's top scoring 11 of the year, you would be playing a 5-5-0. I'm not even joking.
There you go.
Like, their forwards are just... Beto is 7 points per week. Go home, son. He's not doing the fucking job.
Yeah.
But, like that, Jay, I think you're right. I think the away fixture, combined with a lack of firepower, combined with a slightly resurgent, don't want to say it too soon, United, I think United edge it, but I think it's a smelly 1-0. I don't think it's going to be anything too exciting.
Yeah, I see it being scored both teams, because I think when Casemiro goes off in the later part of the game, they start giving up a little more chances. There's also the fullback issue that when they do rotate out Dallo, it's Dorgu. If it's Dorgu, it's Dallo. Neither of them are up to it on that net. Man United's gaps are so glaringly obvious. This goes back to what I said in summer, that when you sort out the goalkeeper problem, it alleviated a lot of the other issues, and now you can see very clearly where the two obvious screaming gaps are, which is a mobile midfielder that can be Casemiro's heir, because it's not Ugarte, and a player on the left hand side can do what Ahmed's doing on the right hand side. You get those two components in that current Man United team, they're a top four guarantee, I think. And then I think if beyond that, to push for a title, they're about 4 or 5 players short of after that round. So it's going to take about maybe 2 more summers for United to get where they're going.
Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Liverpool. Who do they catch?
Oh,
Chelsea.
In terms of
at the moment, fucking Liverpool
or Chelsea, or Chelsea.
Chelsea as well. Chelsea are so hot and cold. Chelsea could finish third this season, 6th next season.
No, Chelsea are hot and cold. They're consistent across the board because there is no screaming outlier. There's no. It's not like last year in the first 6 months that it was, oh shit, Cole Palmer's, ice Cole Palmer. They don't have that this year. They scream hot and cold.
Chelsea's like goals is actually quite. It's kind of like Arsenal. It's actually kind of like deceiving. Like they don't have the lap isn't it for them. Like they should have never gotten rid of Jackson. Like honestly, they should.
We covered that ad nauseum. Let's focus on the United piece, because I want to get us out of here.
1-0 to United. 1-0. 1-0 to United.
I think 2-1. I think
it's a high score draw purely because Sesko is out. They'll play a little bit more intricate, which is not where Everton play. And then to your point, John, about the wing backs of United, I think Grealish has a field day. So pick up Grealish and pick up Cunha if you can. And if you have Tarkowski, put him on your bench.
Yeah.
I think with Sesko out, I think that we're going to have Cunha up front, Mount on the left, and Mbeumo on the right, and then obviously right wing back. And I think that's probably United's best front three. So I think it'll be 2-0 United.
I think
Mason Mount.
The differential
definitely. The only problem with Mason Mount, like you said, is sleeper. The only problem is that you don't know if he's going to start 1 week or another. He could get 0 minutes, and he could start another.
That's what I'm saying.
This week.
Sleeper asset for me is Ahmed all day long, because he's quietly going about his business. He's quietly rocking up the points. Everybody's talking about Cunha and Mbeumo, but he is casually rocking up the points. I think if you're playing over in the sister side, everybody's either got an Mbeumo or Cunha. You've got one of the two. Whereas the way you're going to pick up points where nobody else is with Ahmed. That would be my take on this.
But I think if you've got a spot to rotate in and out, Mason Mount.
There you go. Cool. I think that gives, I'll obviously be back on Saturday morning doing a full breakdown of all of the fixtures. That's become now my now regular Saturday morning between either 10 or 11, depending on when I get a breakfast roll shoved into my face. So it's generally around 11 o'clock. I get on for a good 2 hours in the morning, go through all the Premier League fixtures. So if you're listening to this during the week, join us on TikTok at 10 or 11. You'll get the notification if you follow us. So it's almost like this is
smash that follow button. That's what the young people say, isn't it? You have to smash things and crush them.
And this podcast is available on all good and bad podcasting platforms.
Oh, don't tell them about the bad podcasting platform. They'll have a field day. Also,
give us a little
between here and Saturday morning.
Give us a little statter update before we bail.
A little statter update. Well, I mean, StatrDraft.com, that's StatrDraft.com is still where you should be going to keep an eye on our Team of the Week that we just put up last week. Keep an eye on the ever-changing Team of the Year. Articles along the way from John, myself, and possibly others as the week progresses. So that will keep you going when you're sitting on the loo waiting for John to show up on Saturday morning. That was a weird thing to combine. I'm sorry. In terms of the app, we should have some very, very good news on next week's podcast, one way or another. So stay tuned, keep watching the skis. But for now, I think that's it, isn't it?
Bye, Felicia! And I think we'll sign off with Troy Parrott.
Troy Parrott.
Ballon d'Or. That is it. Troy Parrott for the Ballon d'Or. We're having that, boys.